This is the northern gateway to the city. Behind us, behind me right now, is the road to Scotland. And the story goes that in 1297, William Wallace, having laid waste to the great northern cities whilst Edward I was over in France, he'd left his sort of weakling son Prince Edward in charge. And Wallace and his men had basically routed Carlisle, Newcastle, and when they got here to York, there was simply nobody that stood in their way, apart from the garrison of York under the Shepherd, under Lord Clifford. The siege surrounded this gateway. Wallace and his men had a big wheeled contraption smashing into the gates, you can imagine, to get their way through. The governor of York had rocks, had hot oil. They covered the Scots with oil, then fired arrows of flames down at them. So you can imagine flaming arrows coming down, the panic that would cause. But it wasn't enough. The Scots and Wallace penetrated the city. They took the governor prisoner, chopped off his head, and sent it in a basket to the king with a note that York has been sacked. Now, it's a great story, but it's not a true story. And that's what interests me. Why would somebody go to the effort of making up a story as elaborate as that? People that were there at the time would have known it can't possibly have been true. Well, the reason was because York matters. York has always mattered. And this was a story that was being told to later generations, to the men of Robert the Bruce's army, to prepare them for an attack in the north, because the belief that their compatriots, their ancestors, their fathers, their brothers, their uncles had taken York was enough to put fire in the belly. It was just to believe that they, in turn, could wrest from the crown this mighty jewel of the north, because York mattered. York has always mattered. Right from its kind of very inception, as a Roman provincial capital city, York has mattered. It kind of reflects, I think it's very interesting, that when we look at York, of how many names it's had. To the Romans, it was Ebrachum. We don't know what it was called before they arrived, but people were certainly here. It then became Iforwic under the Anglo-Saxons. To the Vikings, it was Jorvik. And obviously it becomes eventually York. Why does it matter? Well, it interests me because I think the fact that people want to put their stamp on it, their claim on it, their sense of ownership, their cultural identity over the top of it shows how it was valued, how it's always mattered. All the way back to when the Romans first came here and were looking for a place whereby they could establish a northern provincial capital to deal with rebellion in the north and to hasten then, if you like, the invasion of northern Britain, of Scotland. But of course, their plans turned to dust. Scotland was never effectively conquered. Hadrian's Wall is 2 days' march to the north, through the archway there. And so this becomes the end of the world. Donna, it's about 180 miles, 2 hours by train from London. So this becomes the end of the world as far as the Romans are concerned. The wall is, if you like, the end of the province. It's the line between civilization and barbarism. But York is the last city in that world of civilization. A place where a Roman can come, get a massage, shave, decent glass of red wine, female company, gambling, horse racing. Horse racing dates back here to the year 208. The soldiers were rather dispirited, rather unhappy. So Emperor Vespasian came in with 9 Arabic racehorses and started horse racing here. We've got a straight line continuity for 1800 years. The annual Ebor Cup is celebrated for something that happened 1800 years ago. So for the Romans, it was a place of R&R. It was behind the lines. They felt safe here. They could enjoy luxury here. They could enjoy the lifestyle that was missing for them at Hadrian's Wall. And then you used to work at the races. There we go. So it's that kind of place. It's that kind of place. It's always had strategic importance. Donna was asking about how far it is from London. And it's not just how far it is from London. It's about the line. If you to take the English British Isles and draw a line from Edinburgh at the top, London at the bottom, pretty much right in the middle, you've got York. About halfway in the distance, about halfway in between. Sorry, it's a very annoying tractor. That's what's been causing our sound problems there. So its strategic location, right from the outset, is 40 miles from the sea, but protected by the kind of landscape, by the topography. So it was always a prize. The Romans recognised that when they sent scouts to work out where it was they should build, the fortress where they could put their troops to conquer the north, York was the obvious choice. So it benefits from good climate, accessibility. There's no obvious, no hills, no mountains, no valleys. The river is navigable right the way to the sea. So it's an obvious choice. So to the Romans that had conquered most of Europe, when they laid eyes on this land, they knew this was the place for them. This was the place where they were going to lay down roots. And this is the city that they left in their wake.